Mr. President, for 20 years now, I have come to this floor hundreds of times to speak on behalf of the DREAM Act, which I introduced long ago. During that period of time, I've had an occasional vote and have not been successful in making it the law of the land. The closest I came was about 8 years ago when we had a comprehensive immigration reform bill. 4 Democratic senators, 4 Republican senators, and I was among them, worked for months to try to address our immigration system. We came up with an agreement. It was no mean feat. It is a complex area of law. It is a controversial area of law. It is an area of law that changes almost by the day. And we were trying to find a solution to all of the challenges it presents. To think that we are a nation of immigrants and then to reflect on our history on immigration is to leave one puzzled. Most of the time, we have been against immigration despite the arrival of new people on our borders. Occasionally, when we're building a transcontinental railroad, we would invite people from China in to take the backbreaking jobs, only to categorically exclude them from immigration in the meantime. It is hard to explain, understand, or appreciate where we stand on immigration. When I hear the Republican leader come to the floor and criticize President Obama for DACA, I have to say that it's personal to me. I was writing letters to President Obama, my former Senate colleague from Illinois, begging him to do just that, and he did. In creating DACA, he gave the Dreamers a fighting chance. 780,000 of them came forward. These were young people who were brought to the United States as toddlers and infants and children, not because of a personal decision, but a family decision. They grew up here, went to school here, believed they were part of this country, only to learn in a quiet moment of honesty from their parents that they didn't have the necessary paperwork and they had to be extra careful or face deportation. I thought that was a heartbreaking conclusion for their time in America and introduced the DREAM Act. And when we could not pass it, I asked President Obama to do what he could to help, and he did. I thank him for it, still to this day. But DACA, if it was stretching executive power, was certainly reflective of where the American people are on this issue. No apologies. The American people don't hold these young children, now grown, responsible for that family decision. They want to give them a chance. They want to give them a chance to earn their legal status, to earn a path to citizenship. No apologies here. These are wonderful young people who make America a better country, and we need them to be part of our future. So for those who come to the floor and are critical of DACA, I just tell you, take a couple minutes and meet these young people. I've come to the floor over 100 times telling their personal stories. They are a great source of pride, not just for me, but for this nation. Now we face some problems on our border, and we have for some time. And they are challenges that are very real. Mr. Mayorkas, who's taken over as the head of the Department of Homeland Security, is a person I willingly and anxiously supported for that job. He has a personal family story in immigration, but more importantly, he has a depth of experience that is almost impossible to find in other places. He is trying to come together with the leaders in Central America to fashion a plan for order on the border, and it's difficult. It's true that larger numbers are coming to the border this time. The senator from Kentucky said earlier that they believe they have a right to break federal law. I couldn't disagree with him more. They are presenting themselves at the border under the law of asylum in the United States so that they can be judged as to whether or not they are eligible to come into this country. That is the process, but it is broken down because of the numbers presenting themselves at the border and the backlog of cases. 1.5 million cases pending. We don't have enough judges. We don't have a procedure that is sensible and humane. We need all of that, and it's not going to happen the day after tomorrow. Part of it depends on us. It is one thing to come to the floor and lament the situation with immigration in our country. It's another to roll up your sleeves and say, let's do it. Let's solve it on a bipartisan basis. And it's certainly an imperative in a 50-50 Senate that any immigration be done on a bipartisan basis. I stand ready to do that in the Senate Judiciary Committee, and I think colleagues even on the Republican side agree with me. As tough as it may be, we need to tackle these issues and not ignore them as they have been ignored during the last 4 years. That's going to call for some cooperation, some compromise on both sides. But we owe it to our country to do the right thing to make our immigration system sensible, logical, and fair. I don't want to go back to those moments under the Trump administration of zero tolerance, when over 2,000 children were forcibly removed from their parents, sent into a bureaucratic never land, and then were only reunited, and not all of them have been. Those who were reunited were because of a federal court order calling on the Trump administration to do it. They cast those children adrift into bureaucracy, and it wasn't until the federal court demanded that they be reinstated with their families that it happened, in most instances, not in all of them. So we have a lot of work to do, and I hope we can do it on a bipartisan basis. We need to do it as quickly as we can on a bipartisan basis.